As a creative, I used to think I had to go and create solutions. Now I go out and I find problems. That's my favorite thing, right? If a lot of people have the same problem, then I love that problem. Because then the solution is a product, not a one-off service. A lot of us are really busy and we're really working hard, but we're not winning at all. You're just busy and working hard. You need to pick a fight to be able to win. You need to fight someone, something, somewhere. So usually I pick me. You know what I hate about AI and marketing? The fucking...
Ron, in 2024, there was a article about you.
Oh God.
And there was a headline and it said, Ron only has to prove something to himself. It's now 2026.
Okay.
Is this statement still true?
I don't know who wrote that, man. I forgot that piece. Only has to prove something to himself. I think so. I think at the end of the day, it's almost always true, something like that. I don't do a lot of things for a lot of people. I usually try to challenge myself to get to a different level. I can do things for others, but I don't have to prove that at all. So yeah, I think it's true.
Nice. And is there still like versions of you that like you try to prove something to yourself, or is it
every day? Yeah, of course. Yeah. I think that must be the funnest challenge that there is. I was having this conversation this week somewhere where I said, a lot of us are really busy and we're really working hard, but we're not winning at all. You're just busy and working hard. That's it misses the most essential component for me, which is the win, right? So I'm like, you need to pick a fight to be able to win. You need to fight someone, something, somewhere, right? So usually I pick me.
Nice.
Yeah.
And also like, I think in this category as well, last year in September, October, November, December, you started a new agency called WinWin, talking about winning.
Yeah.
And I think it's really interesting because it also felt like a little bit from the outside, at least, like, oh, he really tries to prove to himself, like, again, like, hey, I can again build something from scratch.
Yeah.
WinWin, tell us about it.
Yeah, tell us about it. I think you're right, but I think mostly it's my philosophy in life, right? It's how I get through business, but it's also how I get through friendship and a lot of other things. I think at the end of the day, a lot of people are put here to have the feeling of winning, right? To achieve their goals and their dreams and whatever it is that they want to do. I just believe that a lot of those times you can win while I am winning at the same time in the same deal, right? Same idea. So if you really like to DJ and someone else really likes to dance, a party is a win-win, right? So that's the way I look at things. And I was like, I think there are ways where the client, the customer, the brand, the company, whatever, right? They could win because they're looking for something and we need to achieve that. But while doing that, it can still be a very cool campaign. So the consumer or the fan or the user or whatever, the invitee, can also have a really huge win, even though it's a commercial thing, right? For me, a festival is that way. Like they don't do that for fun necessarily. They do to sell tickets, but you're having fun while you're there. So that's a good thing. And we just started to look like, hey, how many of these win-win situations are possible within marketing, especially within micro marketing? And then we found out, well, we could almost win-win everything if you do it right. The only issue is that most of the people involved in a deal are looking out either for themselves or for the other. Usually not for both.
Yeah.
So we did both, and it works like a charm.
That's amazing. And can you like describe a little bit like how is it different than like from, let's say, a traditional marketing agency?
I think first and foremost because there really is a triangle system here. So actually the company should have been called Win-Win-Win, but that was a bit too long. So let's say you're a beverage company, right? And you want your product and your brand to be promoted. So if we achieve that for you, you win, correct? Right. Now, let's say you're a 24-year-old student having fun, and you have your moments in the year. You have your birthday, and you have New Year's Eve, and you have maybe the first day of summer, or like all these cool reasons to throw a little party, right? If you throw that party and you can invite your friends over, and I can make sure that there's free drinks, that would feel like a win for you, right?
Mm.
And your friends, they would win too. Because, oh, free drinks at your place? Cool, man, let's go. Yeah, blah, blah. And all you had to do was, let's say, create some UGC content or whatever. So the deal, the swap, right, is profitable in your eyes.
Mm.
So now the brand wins, and they win. And we came up with this idea. So we go into culture and we find the 100 coolest 24-year-old students doing house parties. And we have this idea. So we go to the beverage brand, and we go to the student. Both of them win, so we win and get paid.
That's amazing. It sounds like kind of like one of those ideas that is almost like too good to be true. And also like you have this feeling of, oh, why did I not think about this?
Yeah.
But it also sounds like a lot of work, right? Like, can you take us a little bit along also in the, maybe in the back end a little bit in the back office, like how things then work?
What we try to do is we try to find as a creative, I used to think I had to go and create solutions. Now I go out and I find problems. That's my favorite thing, right? I go and I find a problem. And a problem in my eyes is a beautiful problem if it's repeating. If a lot of people have the same problem, then I love that problem. Because then the solution is a product, not a one-off service, right? So in this case, we discussed beverage companies, right? That could be alcoholic, non-alcoholic, energetic, water, it doesn't matter, right? All of them need attention, and any party needs drinks. Whether you drink alcohol or not, it doesn't matter. Any type of drinks. So this is a real sort of thing. And we said, okay, any target audience, any person has 5 moments in their year, at least 5. Everyone's birthday, everyone has at least one major holiday, right? It doesn't matter what religion or whatever you're in. Let's just keep it simple. So in Holland, it would be New Year's Eve, your birthday, Christmas, probably King's Day, indeed, and whatever, first day of summer again, right? We all have these moments. So we just try to figure out why are brands not connected to these moments. All the people are connected to the brand's moments. Whenever they do a party or a launch or something, you're invited to show up because they need you to post something, right? And then you do that because it could be cool, right? It could be a cool brand or something that you show up to. But then you're there on the most important day of the brand. And then on your most important day, the brand isn't there. And that's weird. And it's not because the brand doesn't want to be. It's just because no one ever built that system. And so we started building that system. And we were like, hey, how come cool kids cannot connect with brands? No one picks up the phone. They can't call the PR agency. It doesn't work that way at all. They can't scale, 18 to 24-year-olds, there's like 1.9 million or something in this country alone. Let's make it easy. Put that on 2 million. Give them all 5 moments a year. There's 10 million potential moments that we are not grabbing where everyone could win, right?
Yeah. Yeah, and where brands are like dissociated with them, right? Because a lot of times, I mean, if you look at the beverage brands or if you look at how traditional advertisement works, is then like, you have a spot on TV, maybe you do some sponsorships, but like there's no emotional value in this
There's no real cultural involvement either.
Yeah.
And this will make it interesting because right now, let's say you pick the simple ones, pick the birthdays, right? There's birthdays all over the country. It doesn't have to be in Amsterdam, Rotterdam, Utrecht as always, right? You could do them in the north, in the south, in the east, in the west, on the islands. It doesn't matter. Anywhere you want. So now you have like a national approach. Every day of the year is a birthday. It's not a big problem to find. You know what I mean? So like this is one of the interesting hooks that we come up with to do. Obviously, brands come to us and they say, hey, we want to promote this thing. Could you get micro creators for us? And then we create the campaign. and the briefing and the content, and we run the advertising, of course, right? That's the basic bread and butter. But I think these solutions are super interesting. Like we do a lot with business waste, which is my favorite thing. So business waste is something like, you know, off days for restaurants. How do we fill if they're full on a Friday, Saturday night, how do you fill a Tuesday or a Monday or like a Wednesday afternoon, right? A lot of people still want to be part of that community. They would love to get a free meal and talk about, you know, what they feel about that place or the food or whatever. They would love to. So that's an interesting one. But then you get into like, you know, how many hotel rooms are there in Amsterdam, and what is the amount that's booked on a Tuesday? So all these like super cool suites, right? There's the you know, the Conservatorium, which I think they just changed their name to a different hotel. Can't remember. Anyway, they have like a super suite, and then even the Hilton next to Central Station, they have like Luminaire, which is like this bar upstairs, right? They have a Luminaire suite. You probably never heard of it. I didn't, but it's there.
Yeah.
But on a Tuesday, I think we can do some cool stuff there, right?
Yeah.
Mandarin, that's the new name of the hotel. So I'm like, all of these spas and all of these hotel rooms and all of these restaurants and all of these experiences that are like super cool and over fully booked on the weekends, they're not during the week. Why are they standing still? You already paid for it. It's built. It's there, right? And there's a whole bunch of people that would love to experience that.
Yeah.
And they will make, you know, promotion for you for way smaller amounts than regular advertising campaigns cost.
Yeah. But I really like this because the idea itself, like, is not like new in a way of like,
it's not rocket science.
Exactly, it existed before. People worked with UGC creators, but I think the scale is the thing that is like so interesting, that you can work together with like 50, 500 or 10,000 people. I think that's more the stuff that you built. But of course, everyone knows if you launch a new company, if you launch a new agency, it's very difficult to get your first client in. I think one of your launch clients was BYD.
The launch client was BYD.
launch client, which is like insane. So how did the pitching go? Like, can you take us also a little bit back maybe in this moment?
Pitch.
We didn't pitch?
We did not pitch. I think when you launch something, it always comes down to this. What people have heard about your launch before you launch, right? You don't come up with an idea today, launch tomorrow, right? Your in crowd and your network and your people and your friends and whoever, they hear about it first. So in this case, we were already discussing what we were thinking about. Like, hey, we're thinking of a company like this. We're thinking of something called WinWin, and we're thinking of this micro-marketing thing. And we told that to our network, and we told that to our partners. And actually, in the end, our second client was Bacardi. Our third client was The Good Roll. These are all people that we worked with before. And they were like, oh, once we hear what you're up to, let's do it. Let's try it, right? We hadn't worked with BYD before, but we had worked with Stephanie. And Stephanie, she's from hashtag Work Mode, which is both an agency and a co-working space throughout the Netherlands, especially for women, which I think is amazing. But she was asked to do the top level influencers. Like, hey, can you help out with, you know, this campaign? And we're also looking for a micro campaign. And she just literally said, oh, I know a guy. And then she called me, and the first question wasn't, do you want to do BYD? It's like, yo, are you guys up and running? Sort of. Okay, we have a client. It's fucking huge. You want to give it a go? Because it doesn't matter if the company is 1 day old. Our relationship wasn't. Our experience with working with each other wasn't. You know what I mean? So I think that's the beauty of network. And I think everyone needs to figure out how to do that before they launch.
Yeah.
And so we never really pitched BYD because they were in a rush. They had a launch event. They needed like 150 plus micro influencers on our first day. And we're like, of course, no problem.
Yeah. And then how is it then, like behind the scenes? Was it then really no problem, or did you also start sweating a little bit before the event?
It depends. Do you think panicking and running around like a maniac is a problem? Then no. It was like there was a lot of stuff that we had to do manually that we now do automated, right? Yeah. Automatically. But it was like 150. Yeah, we can do that. Even if there was no internet, I could get you 150 people.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I'm very much about, if I can promise something, I'll do it, even if the most gracious way of doing it isn't available yet.
Yeah.
Right? Because right now, if we needed 150 people, it's way quicker. Back then, we just
like called
and hustled, and we did that.
Yeah.
But
and what was then like the kind of like impact, or maybe now you've worked together with a couple of clients already, like what do they say then, like for example after the event, like how is it then for them also, like because of course they could also invest probably the same money into like one key influencer, they create like this one big moment, and then it also kind of probably goes away. But what do the brands then tell you after the event?
Well, in this case, usually there's not really an event to put it with, right? So in this case there was. I think people are surprised a lot of the times. They're surprised about the diversity of content that you can get, right? If you work with macro influencers, you usually work with a small amount of them. So you get 1, 3, 5, maybe 10 pieces of content. If you do micro on 150, that's 150 different content pieces. The diversity in that is huge. The advertising possibility in that is way bigger. The on-targetness of advertising with diversity is out of this fucking world if you're not used to that. So I think they discovered some very key elements of micro-marketing that they're like, holy shit. So, you move the needle, whereas when you use big ones, you actually pay them a fee for something that they built in the past, right? Hoping it will repeat itself organically.
Yeah.
When you use micro, you pay them a small amount up front, and you use the rest of that budget to actually actively target it and advertise it towards the right people from their account, not yours. So you have like 100 different video assets targeted at the right people within 1 month. So they keep seeing all these different versions. So it gives you cultural relevance, and it gives you 100% on target performance. Yeah. These are new things to them. So I think they were surprised by, the possibilities that it had. Also, they were surprised by real UGC. A lot of people still think UGC is a very pretty video edited to perfection. No, there's also real UGC. You know what I mean? If you go to a football stadium, 40,000 people are there. I guarantee you 39,800 videos and pictures are horrific.
Yeah.
But that's just standard of life, right? They just take a normal picture or just a normal video. They don't think about the audio or the light or the length of it, or they're not content creators. So that part I think was very interesting, because they were like sort of, me too, I'm a very aesthetic person. So I saw a few of these videos and I was like, holy moly. Yeah. And then we just watched the performance on them. And then we say, if you want to reach the masses, sometimes it's not that hard, not that bad to like communicate like them.
Yeah.
So everything went against, well, not everything, but some of these things went really against my judgment. I was like, oh no, this is horrific.
Counterintuitive.
This can never work. Yes. Yeah, well, it does. Yeah.
Crazy. I mean, it almost seems like there's almost kind of like that's normally what happens when something goes viral, right? So it goes viral, and then like everyone, every housewife, every student, everyone starts talking about it. It's like, have you heard of blah blah blah? Yep. And it's most of the time like very like
they don't know
video.
The person.
Yeah.
It's not Hollywood produced. It's not edited 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah. Nice. Really
real viral content is mostly just real.
Yeah. No, I think the most viral videos, they're most of the time like very random. I just remember that like Casey Neistat's most viral video was him like just filming under the pavement of New York.
That had a different reason.
Yeah, okay, but I think that like still he was he said it on podcast as well. He said like he was quite surprised by like how many people saw it, because how much work he normally puts into like his videos and the storytelling and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah,
and
the story told itself.
And then all of a sudden it was just like a phone video that talked about tunnels and things like this.
Because it wasn't the video. The video is never the issue.
Yeah.
It's the story.
Yeah. And how do you do that then with your clients as well? Because I mean, everyone who worked in the creative industry, in the creative field, is always having this battle between like brand and creator, right? Like how much freedom do I have? How much can I like have my own storytelling? And then most of the time brands put like sentences in your mouth that you would never say to your audience ever. Yeah. And then the partnership doesn't work. But with, I don't know, 150 UGC creators, like how much work is it also for you to kind of convince the brand to say like, trust us, we have to have freedom here?
I don't have to negotiate freedom because I understand one thing very well, which is, what is the actual goal of this thing? A lot of brands never get pushback in the right ways, right? Or they try to make commercials. A commercial is a different thing than traffic, for instance, right? A commercial should be remembered, or it should be impressive, or it has all of these things that it can be without taking any action, right? It could be memorable, could be whatever. In this case, it's like, okay, so what do you want? What is the goal here? Do you want everyone to understand that you launched something new? Do you want everyone to know your name? Do you want people to actually click on something and see it? Or like, what is the goal? Pick one. Not all, just one. And then they'll tell me things like, okay, I need them to click on our landings page. Okay. And then I would ask them a question. If I would, doesn't matter how they get there. If it's the right target audience, doesn't matter how they get there. Could I, get them there by a direct mailing? Could they see it online? Could someone talk to them in real life? Could they bump into someone who puts them there? Yeah, we don't really care. We just want the traffic there. I said, okay. If that is true, then let anyone do whatever they can to get them there. Because they don't represent your brand. That's what a commercial does. They make content, which means they either discovered your brand, or they're telling a story about themselves discovering your brand, or themselves using your product, right? They're not speaking from the product, which means this content can be totally different. They are not going to say your tagline. They don't need to, because they are the source. And that is the main difference. Back in the day, it was about the main brand reposting the content. And so it had to be on brand. Now it needs to be on, authentic. It needs to be authentic. It needs to be on brand for the person. So one of my favorite formats is discovery, right? It's like, yesterday you and me are having a conversation. I would tell you, yesterday I ran into this fucking website and it does this. Holy shit. Did you see this? No. And I would just show it to you, right? This is the real world. I would not say, maybe I was born with it. I found a website yesterday that does. It would never happen. No. Right? So as long as I'm the creator and I'm also the messenger, then it needs to be good with me, not with the brand. And that's how you get the authenticity there. That's how you get freedom to do whatever you want. Because you're not the brand. As a matter of fact, you are so not the brand that I would always tell the brands, tell the creators not to be the brand. Because you don't want that. Take the liability out, and now all of a sudden everyone's free. Yeah.
And if we would get like a insight into the boardroom a little bit, like you are with people sitting with people from Bacardi or from BYD, like how do you convince people to do exactly that? Like, is it then like kind of like really like a presentation, or is it also a little bit of they trust you, they know you, they know what you can deliver.
Both. It's both. They trust you, they know you, and they know what you can deliver. Yes, absolutely. But also, we visualize and present it in a good way. And then we always tend to show, either we show or we ask the right things. I need you to understand that it's your idea, that you don't want them to be part of the brand. They need to be a consumer loving the brand. They don't work there. They don't promote it like a commercial. We're not making commercials here.
Yeah.
We're making discovery. We're telling stories here. So have you ever heard someone tell a story that's not theirs? It sucks. Right?
Yeah, board stories.
Yeah. So now it's your idea that they should tell their own.
Yeah.
All I have to do is tell you something that you agree with profoundly. And then after that, putting that idea on your brand campaign is now your idea, right? Yeah, we shouldn't have people faking stories, right? Right. Yeah, there. And then it's that.
Yeah.
It's just the human aspect of it.
Yeah.
But everyone was so used to doing aesthetically pleasing on-brand shit, me included, right? So I had to find ways to show them and teach them what I have learned myself. Hey, I think online works better if they tell their own stories. Hey, they are not sending this from your channel. They're sending it from theirs. Hey, remember the goal here, right? We just want, if you want them to click, let the people do their magic.
Yeah, that's amazing. What I also find interesting is like you launched the company last year, I think end of year. It was already the era where everyone was going crazy with AI and everything.
Yeah.
And I would have maybe expected more that you launch kind of like scalable AI influencers that would produce the same thing instead of a UGC, because it seems like almost like counterintuitive to where sometimes the market is moving.
Yeah.
Why did you decide like deliberately on more
I'm
like the human side and not the AI influencer side?
Two things. The first one is read the room. And our market is not there yet. If you look at the fake, like the AI influencer as a messenger, it works, but it works on certain markets and in certain markets, usually beauty and that kind of stuff. Amsterdam, Holland, Rotterdam, whatever, it's quite specific. Specific in language, AI isn't good enough in yet. It's specific in location, you would recognize the streets and stuff. It's not good enough yet. It's close, but it's not good enough yet, right? And so I was like, what at this point is missing the most? And I went online and I saw different people doing the AI thing. And then I said, okay, what is the opposite of that? It's culture, right? It's real people in crowd, right place, right time. You know how many agencies have that in Holland?
None.
Just one. You know who? Me, motherfucker.
Yeah.
So we were looking at it like, we need the opposite of this. I know where this is going. I see AI and I see the costs of it, and I fully understand that. But I also know that there's going to be a counter movement, and every cool brand can't go and do that, right? They can't go, oh, I don't know, we're Red Bull and Pata and Nike and all the cool shit. We are, titans in this game. Why on earth would we start faking things?
Yeah.
You want to build something from a real community and then add 20 non-existing people to it? No, it only works for e-com properly. It doesn't only work for e-com, but it mostly works for e-com, where it doesn't matter who pushes you awareness about some product, right? But if you want cultural stuff, things that come back in the real world, you need people.
Yeah. And what's your general take on kind of like AI, like in marketing? I think it's for you, it's quite interesting.
It's fantastic. I love it.
And what do brands still get like wrong about using AI for their content creation?
Few things. Either they're scared of it, which I don't really understand, or they're too proud of it, which I think is even worse. So it's like, I always use the vegan example, right? There's nothing wrong with vegan people. They just talked about it so much that it became a cultural joke. I have the same thing with like crypto and AI. It's like people talk about it so much because of its theme, right? And I was like, why is that interesting? We're not still doing vegan restaurants. You can now just order plant-based stuff everywhere, right? We are not calling everything online anymore or mobile phones because now it's normal. So I think we are doing the same with AI. They're really using that word as clickbait for everything, while they should just be creating with the best tool. And sometimes the best tool is a human, sometimes the best tool is a brush, and sometimes the best tool is AI. Pick whatever is in your toolbox to create whatever you want to tell the story you need. But the story doesn't matter because you used a brush or AI or a person to me. Like, make the story interesting first. So what do I like about it? I like the fact that as someone who starts startups and has new ideas from scratch, the 0 to 1 is now, it's like a cheat code. It's literally, you can make stuff that you didn't have. You can build whatever it is you need, like a website or a deck or product shots or advertising or anything, without actually having the product first. So it gives you way more space to trial things and test it out without having to buy tens of thousands of euros worth of gear, right?
Yeah.
I like that. The other thing is it makes it easier to create stories. I like that. The other thing is that it makes it easier for us to reach society goals, I guess. Let's say you want to be more inclusive, but you're a tiny company. It's just 3 people. And those 3 people it's you, your best friend, and 1 extra person. You cannot, at that rate, you cannot start positively searching for diversity, right? It's not big enough. But what if you want to show some of that? You can now show diversity in product shots, in people on your website, in all of this kind of stuff, where it used to be so expensive to create that. And now if you want to do it by choice, you can do it without running out of money.
Yeah.
So I like that kind of stuff. I think we can add the layers that we want to that stuff. I think we can add diversity, which is great, but we can also really add sharpness to say like, hey, I'm going to pitch this person or this country or this market or this company, and now I can create visuals that match them.
Yeah.
Let's do that. That should be fun. Well, it is.
Yeah.
I now have a pitch deck in 37 different ways.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, I think especially for the creatives, I think like especially when you do like a lot of pitching and like trying to visualize ideas, like in the past, yeah, like photoshopping things together and trying to like morph everything together was like a huge job, and it always kind of looked like you always said, yeah, this is just a render.
Yeah, you have to apologize.
Yeah, it's just a render, but like that you get the idea, and now like you can make it so like visual that it's almost like if it would look like this, it would already be very sick.
I have a guy that does examples or pitches that look better than campaigns. I had people trying to buy the visuals in our decks. This is not a joke. This is actual. This happened.
Yeah.
They're like, we want something like this. So they request, a pitch. And the pitch was so good that they wanted to skip the entire shoot.
It's crazy. But is it
yeah,
also then...
It's crazy, but it's also Martin.
Yeah, is it also then like the part that you maybe don't like about AI? That kind of... Because then you're, let's say, maybe other business, like with WinWin, could fall flat, right? Because they say like... What? No. Because people will still in the end...
People want people in the end. There's enough people that want... there's a market for everything.
Yeah.
Do I like it? I mean...
Well, what don't you like about AI in marketing, maybe? Maybe it's a better question.
What I don't like about AI in marketing specifically... you know what I hate about AI and marketing, the fucking inbox of LinkedIn idiots that think you don't read through their bot. I would love to have like I think I might develop one of these where you like send a €5 invoice if you try to bot me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you should be punished for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I also see this a lot, like this, like repetitive stuff, because I think, of course, there's a couple of like, let's say, thought leaders in AI, and they say like, you know what, you should do this kind of Claude skill, blah, blah. And then everything sounds the same, everything looks the same. And it's like, I mean, I get it's faster, but like, you know.
It's terrible.
Yeah.
Auto lead gen is fucking horrific if you do it the wrong way.
Yeah.
And we don't have a way of warning people. I think if 20 people say, yo, this bot needs to fuck off, then it should stop.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think that this is, I think, sometimes a little bit a sad part about AI, that people don't really take, they take out the effort, which I sometimes don't like, right? I'm part of a founders group. I think there's 600 founders in there. Every single message when they want to buy you the product, or when they want you to go to an event of theirs or something, is like completely AI generated, because it's like, hello founder family, hello fellow founders. And you're like, just like, is it really so difficult to type like 200 characters and invite someone genuinely, like, I really would like to get you there, and you know what's in there for you? Like, who talks like this?
Who talks like this?
So
this is actually funny. So I first I was irritated by all these invites and lead gens, right? And then after a while, I got one from someone who I rated quite high. I thought, listen, man, you're a very interesting person. You have an amazing track record. You just send me a fucking bot invite as a personal approach to link on LinkedIn. And then I accepted that bot invite. And then I got another one immediately. Right? So I sent him like, hey, I just want you to know, I want you to understand the cost of this. Because I actually thought you were like a cool person.
Yeah.
But now this bot is sort of killing the vibe between us.
Yeah.
You, as a person, could have literally sent me 3 words.
Are you in?
Yeah, like, you know, hey, it's me, or whatever. It doesn't really matter what it was, right? Now I'm getting all these things, and then I warned you. I sent back like, hey, how's this bot work now for you? And then the bot answers again with like a whole fucking thing, right? And he didn't save any of that. And only in the end, like 2 weeks later, I think he sent me a message, a personal one. And he was like, you're actually right. We did like a reach out to hundreds of people. And that might work on people you would never meet, or consumer level, or whatever. But when you get to network level, now you forever are that bot guy to me.
Yeah.
Right? Which is kind of interesting.
Yeah. So I'm really curious how this will like develop over the years, you know, if we will hopefully come back again to people saying like, okay, I know it's way faster to type this message, but maybe I tweak it, or because like that's the thing that buffers me, is that there's so many people that don't even like tweak it. Like it's like, okay,
it's straight copy paste.
It's like nice if it creates this for you, but then just like it takes maybe 5 minutes to rewrite some words, to take out some strange formation, like formatting things, and it already looks like your message, you know, but it's like literally 10 minutes difference.
I think just like any other thing, analog will, you know, represent value a lot. Like right now, if you get a handwritten thing by someone you care about, you're like, wow. Whoa, that used to be the fucking baseline. You know what I mean? Then we started typing and emailing and stuff, and now we don't write ourselves anymore. So now if someone writes you and you know it's them, you're going to start appreciating that. It sucks, but it's true.
I think the people that do highly personalized things, I think that they're the people that win massively right now. Yeah,
that's also why I've always been doing that. And funnily enough, I just realized that the thing I hate the most on this planet might become very valuable, which is voice notes. I really hate voice notes. You lazy fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? But now I can prove you It's me.
Yeah. But with ManyChat, you can also send voice message automatically.
Yeah, but if you get caught on a bot voice message,
No, but it's your voice, but you can send it like directly as a response. You just cannot say the name. Like that's quite cool. Like
cannot say the name.
like for example, if I would like I have had a ManyChat automation,
Yeah.
and then the last message after like 2 hours delay was like a voice message of me saying like, hey, if you ever have questions, blah blah, like I'm here for you. You
Yeah,
can
but
just-
I know that is not.
it was actually quite crazy. Like even friends of mine
Yeah.
were that like commented the word just to support. Even they were like saying like, oh, but you know that I'm like I don't want to start a podcast or something. So they were very confused about it.
Yeah.
So I
Yeah,
think
fair.
but I think that of course your bullshit radar is like also I think
My bullshit radar is really
maxed
high.
out.
But I'm talking about like, yeah, of course, if you use it, if you record something which is generically good, universally understood, and
Yeah.
I get that. But like, yeah, you know, if you know me,
Yeah.
right? If you know me, you know how I speak.
Yeah.
You know, first of all the AIs, they don't use profanity, and I do a lot. So that's one of them. But I also have like names for everyone, and I
Yeah.
have a vibe.
Yeah. So of course you will detect it.
So yeah, if you're in these, long ding dings, especially when it's business, sometimes now I like the fact that we're getting voice notes like, "Hey, bro, I'm busy right now, but I'll send it to you later because blah blah blah." blah.
Yeah.
I'm like, okay, at least it's you.
Yeah. And
Right.
not like not Claude talking to me.
Yeah.
I also want to talk to a little bit about your creative process because I find this quite interesting. When are you most creative? Is there is there like a time, a place? Is it like a certain mood, or is it just like 24/7 Ron Simpson creativity?
I think there's 24/7, but I do believe that it's stronger at certain moments than others. I'm a night owl always. So once the amount of waves go down, right? In the evening there's just less noise, less everything. Less traffic, less waves, less ideas, less people talking, less distractions. So I'm better then. And for the rest, I think it's mostly my my process that is different from others, and the way I think that is different from others. It's not just I never sit down to try and be creative. Never done that. Like, oh yeah, we have to be creative right now. Maybe with copywriting or something where okay, I need to write something fun, but not on a business level or any other thing. I just analyze absolutely everything automatically. It's like not the Matrix. It's more like the Terminator. The first time, when they have this goggle and it sees, he sees all of these things, and I'm like, I have that with everything. I have that with colors and shapes, but I have that with words. I can build a whole company because I ran into the right word. I'm like, well, this word is fire. We need to do something with this word. What can this word be? And then I get options, and then the whole thing writes itself, right?
Yeah.
I've also had that with colors or shapes where I'm like, whoa, I've never seen a round version of this, or I've never seen a purple version of that, right? We can do that. But most of the times I just run into problems and people complaining or yapping about things or showing me something which is super simple for them. They're like, yeah, this is a solution I did to get rid of something and it works. I'm like, do you understand how scalable that is? Like how brilliant you actually are? Which I love. So one of my favorite things, especially with friends, is like they would show me these complex business ideas and have all this thing. And I'm like, yo, you do not understand that you can throw 99% of your business away and keep this little thing and scale it till infinity and you'd be a gazillionaire, right?
Yeah.
And they're like, oh, whoa, they totally skip the solution or the product when they're in the service, right? They think usually too small, but if they think too big, then they don't see how big the small thing is.
Yeah.
Which I love. So I love finding like hidden business models or ideas in people's work.
But
I love
are you
that.
then ever kind of like satisfied with, like, for example, now you work on WinWin, like you do like consultancy work, you work with brands together. There's also like an exciting new company coming up.
Yeah.
Are you then ever kind of like satisfied of like working on like this idea, or is it for you always like, oh, there's another shiny thing that I need to jump on?
Had this conversation before. It's a good question. I am satisfied. I'm satisfied when we find out that an idea works, right? Proof of concept is interesting. But I see it as an athlete or a musician or any creative on that kind of levels, right? You can play that game and win it. But if you like to play football, you're looking for the next game, right? You're still in the same game. You can still play for the same team. No problemo. But it is the next game, and that's sort of how I work. So I'll build WinWin, the theory of it. I'll launch it. I'll be very happy seeing that it works. Hey, media gets us, or first customer gets us, or people want to work here, right? I'm happy, but I can still find another 100 things to do with WinWin. No problem. And so I will give the original idea that is now proven to the team and say, well, this one's scalable. Have fun. I'm going to find the next problem to solve within this equation, right? And sometimes I run into a new sport. I'm like, hey, this sport's kind of fun too.
Yeah.
Can we play both of these? Yes or no? The answer is yes, I will. If it's no, then I'll either place it on, once I'm done with football, we're going to do basketball, right? The domino effect. Or just get rid of it. Sell it. Sell the idea of the sport. Like, hey, I understand everything about chess. I just don't play it. I can sell you a chessboard.
Yeah.
I can sell a chess player a chess idea. That's not a problem. Don't have to play it.
Is it not tiring?
Yes, very. But it's also fun. You know, playing the World Cup finals with double extension is tiring too.
Yeah.
But it's the best game you ever played.
But you cannot always win, right? Like, especially with, but also in sports, but also in business. Like, sometimes you lose. Like, how do you deal with that?
Try to win more than you lose. Try to understand why you lose. Did you lose or did you learn? You know what I mean? Most of the things... Did I ever feel a real loss? Yes, I have. Usually the loss came after a few wins within the same game. So then percentually it wasn't that bad. I mean, it could still hurt, or we lost someone's money, or, you know, it sucks, of course. But was it a real loss or was it a real lesson, right? And sometimes it's just the risk you take to learn. There's a lot of things that I do that I've never done before. Do you then lose or do you learn? Like, I look at it and I'm like, hey, this could either work or not. I understand that up front. I have no idea which one is going to be, but let's do it.
But is there ever like a sad run as well? Because like this is, of course, like if you read any management book or motivational book or something, like you can always say like, yeah, but it's also like a lesson and blah, blah, blah. But in the moment, like something falls through.
Is there ever a sad run? Yes, there is a sad run. There was a sad run 2 days ago when I had to say goodbye to one of our restaurant concepts, which I loved, absolutely loved. I still believe on paper it's one of the most brilliant things we've ever done. But it just had some variables, right? It had COVID. It had the wrong location, I think, in the end. It had multiple teams trying to run it and revive it, none of which were really hospitality driven. So it had all of these things, but like looking at the idea, and everyone that ever looked at that idea was like, this idea is a 10. 10 out of 10. it still needs the right timing. It still needs the right people to be able to solve the right problems, right? It had amazing people involved. It couldn't fly for some reason.
And how do you deal with that then? Like when you're sad, is it then just like putting yourself into new ideas, or are you getting quiet? Are you?
I went there. I ate there for the last time, and then we discussed all the fun that we did have and the things we like about it. And then we tried to understand why it didn't work and see if we would feel the same about that. And we did. And then that's just that. That's what I say. Like, you could lose a game, but still really enjoyed playing it. And that's sort of how that feels.
Yeah. It's maybe more like you lose a match, but you still really enjoy the game, maybe.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. I'm very proud of it. I would still talk about it. I would still show it to people. And I would then say it never popped off like the other one did. But it's a personal favorite. I really liked it.
Yeah. Have you ever really like burned out in the past 10, 15 years? Like not like, oh, I feel a bit more tired, but really that you felt like, now I really need to take a step back?
I don't know if it was burnout. I don't think it was burnout. I do get overworked sometimes where I will be too close to the glass. I would be execution only. That's not my strength. My strength is strategic creation, you know what I mean? That side. So I need to do execution to help it reach its full potential. But if all I do is execution, then that's bad management from my side. That happens every now and then. So I'm like, whoa, I'm too close to the glass. I need to stop and put 5 steps backwards because we might be doing the wrong thing here. If I'm executing, there's something not right. What are we doing? Is this reaching the goals that we want, or are we stuck in our ways? Or like every couple of years I switch usually into something new.
Yeah.
That's when that happens.
And is this something you realize for yourself, or is it then like your environment also that you have around you, your friends, your wife, that is...
I think at the end, I'm the only one that can realize that. I think all of my surroundings will probably give me signals that help me realize it. But until that moment where you sit down and say, I don't think what I'm doing is the right thing anymore. We need to get back to the drawing board. That is a personal decision.
Yeah. With like all the kind of experience that you have now, and I think probably you got burned a couple of times. You got, you said like you had some things that worked and didn't work. Like, what are you willing on a personal level? What are you willing to still like sacrifice, and what are you willing to not sacrifice anymore?
I'm an idiot. I'll sacrifice almost anything. If it's, as long as it's fun, impactful, and a good idea. But what am I willing to sacrifice and what not? I think I'm just a bit more careful with health, time, image also. Not that I really give a fuck, but if you burn yourself in a way that is irreparable, then that would be a bad idea, right? And so, yeah, like, who do you work with? What kind of deals are you taking? Like, if I would take a super commercial deal, that's not really who I am. So what's a good example? The guys that did the Mondkapjes deal in Holland after COVID, right? They got really nailed for that. That is a risk I would not take. I would not take that amount of cash over being burnt like that. Maybe when I was 17 and I wouldn't have a clue what I was doing or what ego is worth or whatever, then yeah. But now, no. So I think that part's important. Other than that, I'm a big fan and believer in, you can change every day. There's some of the most amazing brands and companies in the world have been founded by people of 45, 50, 60, whatever. Even brands today, like, the KFCs of the world or whatever. You can switch whenever you want. You can sacrifice all of that. You can take a good risk.
Yeah. Because I think that like many people also like partly because of social media, like glorify also like the entrepreneurship life and all this kind of things. What do you think is like the price you had to pay for being an entrepreneur?
I think the price you pay is everyone thinks you're living a free life, but actually you're working double the hours for half the money. It comes with a lot of stress. It comes with even more responsibility, accountability, that kind of stuff. In my case, it brought me a lot of fun and it brought me a lot of joy. It brought me a lot of people, very social. But it took depth from me. So knowing a lot of people simply means you cannot go deeper in relationships with others, right? You don't have the time for that. You're multitasking. You're like a politician. You're almost trying to fix everything with everyone type stuff, right? So that was something I learned. I think that entrepreneurism took that a little bit away from me. It gave me so much. It gave me a world of really cool people and really cool places and really cool memories and really cool whatever. But if I look around of people who just had a smaller world, a smaller life, they have deeper, meaningful connections to their people, which is something I'm fixing right now. So I think it's that, right? It's not necessarily does it take something from you, but what do you trade for what? I traded a lot of fun and a lot of stories and a lot of experiments and a lot of time for,
Is there any regret?
No, I don't think so.
Because also like you still have a lifetime before you, right? So it's
also, yeah,
so it's
like,
not that you're
the grass is always greener, right? Like, I can look at someone who grew up with like 5 friends and they're friends forever and this super tight little group and they do whatever, right? I look at that and I think that is awesome. That must be fun, man. You had like 10 holidays together. You have all these memories together, And I can look at that and be positively jealous. So not like negatively, but like, oh, wow, I wish I had that part in my life as well. But then I look at my 10 vacations and it was like, I've seen the entire world. Every time it was with different people and I got to know them a little bit. And it was like, that is something too. And then these, the people that have the small groups, they're like, whoa, always looking at your stuff. They usually tend to go to a place where everyone fits in either financially or, one is a parent and the other one is this. And it's always that. We don't care. We do the wildest countries and stuff back in the day, right? So they look at that and they think, oh, I wish I had a little bit more of that. So the grass is always greener like that. The only one thing that right now I'm starting to not regret because I never felt about it that way, but think like, hey, I think it would have been cooler if we started that a little bit earlier, would be fatherhood, I think. I was so busy having so much fun and so much distraction and so much whatever that I was really on this path of that. And then now that my brother's kid and my sister's kids and my friends' kids are a little bit older, you're like, yeah, okay, cool. You're now reaching that phase of fun. When it's a baby, I couldn't care less, right? But now they're like really enjoying their kids and having all these moments. And I'm like, okay, we can still have that and do all of that, but it's going to be late in the game. Which, I don't regret. But if there's one thing I wouldn't have mind of changing, I think it would have been that.
If now like a 22-year-old guy would DM you and say like, hey, I want to build a company, I want to build a brand with a hopefully very personalized message, not a bot message.
This happens every day. Yeah.
What advice would you give them?
I don't think there's advice, man. I don't think there's universal advice that doesn't sound corny, that hasn't been said before or something. So there's a few things. I think I always tell people about the value of time, and that you really need to start understanding that and act accordingly. Because it's probably the only thing you have, and you don't know how much you have of it. The other thing where everyone goes is always like, yeah, you need to believe in it, and you need to have fun and be passionate and blah, 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 blah. It's all true, but it's all boring as well. So I'm going to skip that one. But what I usually say is a 3-minute call with me asking very annoying questions, can put you on a different path. So if someone takes the courage and the time to write me a real message, I'll take 3 minutes out of my day to
put
try
them on
to
the right path.
poke the bear. Yeah.
Yeah.
And usually it's like, what is the first thing you do when you have a good idea? If they can't answer that properly, they're stuck. I'm like, okay, you're still in thinking phase. Who's the first person you need to convince when you have a good idea?
Yourself.
Exactly. They don't know that. They start going like investors or this. Like, no, dude, you need to understand that if you don't convince yourself, you can't convince others. And if you can't convince others, you're never going to get, the money or the doors to open. And you need to convince yourself that you'll be okay working double the hours for half the cash, and you need to do this for years, right?
Yeah.
So these questions, they're just not being asked. So I tend to do that. Do you understand the time? What happens if 4 years from now you see this as picking the wrong study? Is that okay? What would that do to you, and this kind of stuff? And let's figure out the goals. What do you want in personal life? What do you want in family life? What do you want in work life? Anyone that's in it for the money is wrong, I think. I know that sounds really stupid, but I think I've never really seen someone enjoy something that was money first. I think you can do a lot of construct and a lot of business that makes a lot of money. That is totally fine. But if you literally if money is the motivator for the idea, then I don't think you can have a lot of fun with that. You can just get really rich and then still need to figure out what you're going to do to have passionate fun. Yeah,
because I think also that if in the beginning maybe there's no money, so you're going to be miserable until there's money.
Yeah.
And I think if you don't enjoy the process, in your idea, I mean, same as like, I think you would work for free in your restaurant idea until it would work because you love it so much, right?
Yes.
So you would push a long time, and you would hold off a long period of maybe drought to have the satisfaction that it actually would work. But the person that would only be there for the money, like they would quit after 6 months, 3 months, 1 year.
Yeah, and I think making money is a very important thing, and I think it's very interesting to do that, but it's way more fun when it's built on something you actually want to achieve. So I think the Google boys wanted to actually organize information in a way that you could find it. I think Apple wanted to make a cooler computer than anyone else, but never thought that they would be the size that they are right now. If you look at Amazon, if you look at all these major companies, right, they wanted to do something that was kind of cool. And then they found a way to make ridiculous amounts of money with it. But I think if you start with how can I make ridiculous amounts of money, then you end up in the wrong games.
If we would sit down again in 10 years, I know you're not a big fan of future work, but I think maybe you.
Fuck yeah, I'm a big fan of the future.
What would be like the time well spent for you in the next 10 years if you could look back then?
In the next 10 years, it's all about control. It's all about, I've proven to myself that I can create an abundance. I have limitless ideas. I have all of that. Like, to me right now, it's control. Can I control my skills and my time to build the things I want to build within the pocket instead of outside of it. So everything outside of that pocket can become private life.
Nice.
10 years from now, I'll tell you how I did that.
Perfect. Then we sit down again.
Yeah, and I'll tell you exactly how that works and why.
Perfect. Before we leave off, I always have 3 final questions, really quick ones.
Shoot.
What's something you're learning right now that you're not good at?
That I'm learning right now that I'm not good at. AI automatization. I'm getting good at it, but I'm not yet.
Perfect. What name would you give this chapter of your life?
This one?
Yeah.
I like that question. This chapter of my life. The moment.
The moment. Very nice.
Yeah.
And the last question is, if you could send a SMS to all mobile phones in the world, what would you say?
Hug someone.
Hug someone. Very nice.
Yeah.
Awesome message. Ron, thanks so much for coming on. It was
welcome.
really a pleasure to talk about creativity, about WinWin, about agency, but also about some more personal things. But I think a really nice reflective moment. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you so much for not asking an avocado show question.
Yes, we did it.
Yeah, we did it. Yeah.
And now it's time for you to subscribe to the 301 podcast, because I see that over 80% of the podcast listeners right now are not subscribed. So go like and subscribe, and we are back in 2 weeks' time with a new episode.